My heart stayed calm, even when everything around me felt loud and confusing. I lived in a small neighborhood where people rushed through life, without stopping to listen to themselves. Every morning looked the same. I woke up early, helped at home, and went to work with a quiet mind but a heavy heart. I was not unhappy, but I was not fully happy either. Something inside me felt unfinished. I often watched people talk confidently, share their ideas, and express their feelings clearly. I wanted that calm confidence. I wanted to speak without fear and listen without confusion. English felt like a distant bridge to a better version of myself. I did not need a big dream. I only wanted peace in my thoughts and clarity in my words. In the evenings, after a long day, I sat alone with my phone and a notebook. I listened to simple English conversations and repeated the sentences softly. My pronunciation was slow, and my sentences were short, but my heart stayed calm. I was not in a race. I was learning at my own pace. Each new word felt like a small light turning on inside my mind. Some days were difficult. I felt tired and distracted. People around me did not understand why I spent time learning a language instead of resting. They thought silence meant weakness. But silence was my strength. It gave me space to grow. I learned to listen carefully before speaking. I learned to stay calm even when I made mistakes. One day, I noticed a change. I could understand simple English sentences without translating them in my head. I could reply slowly but clearly. That moment brought a quiet smile to my face. I realized that progress does not always arrive with noise or celebration. Sometimes, it arrives gently, like a calm breath after a long day. My heart stayed calm, because I stopped judging myself. I accepted where I was and trusted the process. Learning English was not just about words. It was about patience, focus, and self-respect. I was becoming more aware of, as days passed, the calm inside me began to grow stronger. I noticed how my mornings felt lighter, and my thoughts felt clearer. I continued my routine without pressure. I listened to simple English audio while walking, working, or resting. I repeated sentences slowly, not to sound perfect, but to understand myself better. Learning became part of my day, not a burden I had to carry. There were moments when I felt stuck. Some words refused to stay in my memory, and some sentences sounded strange no matter how many times I practiced them. In the past, I would have felt frustrated. This time, I stayed calm. I reminded myself that confusion is a sign of learning, not failure. I took short breaks, returned with fresh focus, and continued without blaming myself. I started noticing small changes in real life. When someone spoke English near me, I caught familiar words. When I watched short videos, I understood the main idea. These moments did not shout for attention, but they mattered. They showed me that quiet effort brings quiet results. I felt proud without needing anyone else to notice. One evening, I tried something new. I spoke English out loud for a few minutes, talking about my day. My sentences were simple, but they were mine. I listened to my own voice and felt comfortable. There was no fear, no rush. I realized that calmness had created a safe space where my confidence could grow naturally. People around me began to notice a change, even if they could not explain it. I listened more carefully, spoke more clearly, and reacted with patience. English was shaping more than my language skills. It was shaping my attitude. I learned to pause before reacting and to choose my words with care. I understood that calmness does not mean doing nothing. It means moving forward without panic. It means trusting small steps. Each day, I added a few new words, practiced a few sentences, and reviewed what I learned. That was enough. I did not need to compare my J. With time, the calm I had protected so carefully began to shape my confidence in quiet ways. I did not wake up one day feeling fluent or fearless, but I noticed how naturally English started to fit into my life. I no longer forced myself to study for long hours. Short, focused moments became enough. A few minutes of listening, a few sentences spoken aloud, and a short review before sleep slowly built a strong foundation. I became more comfortable with mistakes. When I mispronounced a word or forgot a sentence, I did not feel embarrassed. Instead, I felt curious. I asked myself why the mistake happened and how I could improve. This calm approach made learning lighter. English was no longer a challenge to fight, it was a skill to grow with patience. One afternoon, I had a simple conversation in English with someone new. It was not perfect, but it was smooth and clear. I understood the questions and answered without panic. That moment stayed with me. It showed me that calmness had prepared me for real situations. I was not rushing my words. I was choosing them carefully. I felt present, focused, and confident. English also changed how I listened. I became more attentive, not just to words, but to meaning. I learned to pause, think, and respond thoughtfully. This habit improved my communication in every part of life. I spoke less, but I spoke better. People noticed my calm tone and clear expressions. I felt respected without trying to impress anyone. There were still days when progress felt slow. But I no longer feared slow days. I understood that growth is not always visible. Some changes happen quietly inside the mind. By staying consistent and calm, I was building something lasting. I trusted the process, because it had already changed me. My heart stayed calm, because I learned to accept my pace. I stopped comparing myself to others and focused on becoming better than yesterday. English became a symbol of balance in my life. It reminded me that